Right here. Hey, protect your out. We put the work in. Let's finish. Come on, man. Let's do this. Family, I'll do 1, 2, 3.
You see, we dream chase, because that's all we was given to start with. Then we realized the dream was obtainable. Now look at us.
At one point, I asked myself, I'm hoping that the starting group isn't looking as disconnected as the second or third unit.
Ain't no way.
Yeah, it wasn't
no
looking
way.
good. Now, let's give Sean Mannion some grace. Once again, he's working with backups. The offensive line was constantly changing as they do throughout preseason games, right? Philadelphia opened with Fred Johnson at left tackle, John Ojukwu at left guard, Willie Lampkin at center, who played decent. Drew Kendall at right. Drew Kendall at right guard, and Mark Bell at right tackle, who actually played well. Then players started moving around. Now we're playing musical chairs. Lampkin went to guard, Kendall went to center, and then the other combinations came in from Michael Morris, Jake Majors, Miles Hilton, Michael Jordan, Nobles, right? Cameron Williams. And that's just a lot of movement, especially on the offensive line where you want your core group to have that continuity and to the left and right of them are going to do. That matters, especially on that O line. So when you have a lot of moving pieces, chemistry is difficult. It just is. You don't really know the guy to the right. He might have just came in yesterday. Hey, what's your name, brother? Hey, I'm Jake. Okay, whatever. You're just meeting some of these guys. So y'all don't have that relationship. I don't know what that guy's going to do, right? But still, 0 for 9 on third down? Nah, man. We got to correct that. We can't have that, right? Because third down is when you find out whether an offense can stay on the field or they can't. And Philly couldn't. In order to have those 10-minute drives that we're so accustomed to seeing in Philadelphia, and they've been on the field the whole quarter, you're going to have to win some third downs. You're going to have to move those chains. So going 0 for 9, even from the backups, look, that's something that all the players on offense can learn from, what not to do. And it has to lead to better execution. That's what I got from it. You got to execute the finished plays. It's a lot of times that's why you don't win on third down. Poor execution.
And you said it best, because, like, to be honest, to continue drives, the money down, third down. I don't care if it's third and short, third and long. We want third and manageable, of course.
Always.
But you still have to be able to move the change and sustain drives. Melt the clock, win the time of possession. And that's why I'm not really upset at Sean Mannion, as you already mentioned. Give him some grace, because we saw what Sean Mannion was trying to do with the misdirections, with the motions, with the boot action, everything. The offense looked different, even though it was vanilla in the preseason. It looked different than last season. But Sean Mannion, he was calling some plays. He was calling some plays that were there to take advantage of and to pick up those first downs. But again, to your point, the execution, that's where the players lacked. It wasn't on the coach. So we can't sit there and be like, oh, well, the Eagles offense is going to be trashed because Sean Mannion, he can't call. No, it's not none of that. He called a solid game. We just need the players to perform better and execute when it matters. Okay, so now, what are we really looking for from Sean Mannion? This is one of the biggest questions heading into Foxborough with that joint practice versus the New England Patriots. So Sean Mannion is still installing his offense, and we know he's not going to show everything during preseason. That wouldn't be smart at all, and he shouldn't. All right. So why give future opponents the blueprint? But again, like me and Big Huss said, we did see flashes from Sean Mannion's offense, and that's all we're truly looking for. We wanted to see more motion, more play action, under center concepts, different personnel packages, rhythm, timing, and how our quarterbacks operate within Sean Mannion's system and scheme. That's the big thing, because eventually this isn't going to be Andy Dalton. It's not going to be Tanner McKee. It's not going to be Cole Payton. It's going to be QB one, our franchise Super Bowl winning MVP quarterback. It's going to be Saquon. It's going to be Dallas Goedert. It's going to be DeVonta Smith, the starting offensive line unit, and the rest of the first team offense. So the question really shouldn't be, did Sean Mannion rebuild the entire offense against Baltimore? Absolutely not. The question is, did we see enough evidence that this offense has an identity? And that's what we're watching for. And it kind of is shaping up with us getting an identity, but it's hard to get an identity with backups. So with this joint practice going against the New England Patriots, it's going to be pivotal for our starters to execute this game plan, execute this scheme, so we can kind of get a feel of how they will do going into week one versus the Commanders. Because, after this joint practice with the New England Patriots, the starters really aren't going to play that much. It's only one more preseason game after this. So this is really their final button up dress, their rehearsal before they play the Washington Commanders in week one. So hopefully the starting offense comes out. We see them moving the ball. We see them actually getting first downs. Show us some signs of life that this offense is getting on track to be a top 5, top 10 unit in 2026.
And I think you said it right. Show us some signs of life that it's not 2025 all
Yes.
over again.
Oh, Lord.
Show us that the team is progressing, the offense is progressing and moving in the right direction. Like I said, we're not looking for the whole cookbook. We're not looking for everything.
Mm-mm.
Just give us a little something, give
It's
us
a little sample.
taste. Yeah, a little taste. Yeah. Oh, that's good. You know what I'm saying? Have us looking forward to more. Hopefully this preseason game will give us that, because boy, do we need it.
Mm-hmm.
Now let's move on to day 12 of training camp. Now this is where things get a little exciting, because Philadelphia got several important players back. Man, our very own DeVonta Smith returned.
That's
Man,
that boy.
come on now,
That boy
2021. Quinyon
Ooh,
Mitchell,
like that.
return. Man, Cooper DeJean return. Right. So we getting some of our dogs back.
Mm-hmm.
Now Smith had missed, I believe, 7 practices, if I remember right, with a hamstring injury. He was limited. Then you had Mitchell and DeJean. They were full participants after missing just 1 practice. And that matters because we're heading toward joint practices. And we want to see those matchups between A.J. Brown and Quinyon Mitchell, A.J. Brown and Cooper DeJean. That's just iron sharpening iron. You're going to get some good looks, with those players going against each other. And you want to keep your eye on players coming back, just getting their rhythm back, getting my feet back up under me. It's been a little while. You know what I'm saying? Make sure he's moving good. Okay, the gates look, it's just, you want to see how they moving. Now, especially when you talk about in the secondary, and especially when you're talking about receivers, because all they do is run.
Yes.
So you want them out there fluid, loose, not looking tight, not moving like robots. And look, the Patriots are waiting. There's going to be some serious matchups. It's going to be some serious trash talking. Hey, it might be a few scuffles. I ain't mad if Q him, AJ, up. Get with that man. This is Philly. He ain't in Philly. Get with that man. So I really want to see this team take it to him and really get better. Don't pull up because, hey, man, that's my friend. You know what I mean? That's my brother.
Nah.
No. Go out there, 110% effort, and get better at your craft.
Yes. Compete.
Absolutely.
Forget all that friend stuff. Mi amigo. Leave that at the door, bro. Once y'all step between those lines, look, bro, compete. He tried to throw the Eagles organization under the bus. He tried to throw some of the players under the bus. It ain't no friendly competition. It ain't no friends here. Look, compete against that man. And we were talking, like, while we're on this topic, because we were talking about this before we started shooting. It's some matchups that we are intrigued by. We know that A.J. Brown is a big storyline. All right, we get it. We're over that already. All right, but we do want to see QB1 against the New England Patriots defense, because you already mentioned Mike Vrabel always has a defense. So we want to see QB1 in this new offense and how he responds against a defense that was legit just in the Super Bowl last season. Also, we want to see what our interior offensive linemen look like. Yeah, Willie Lampkin had a phenomenal game at center and guard. Okay, old school type of player, had no gloves on, had the tape around his fingers. I said, hold on now, he bringing back the old days.
Mm-hmm.
We want to see our interior offensive lineman go against Milton Williams. A lot of people are forgetting that Milton Williams is on the New England Patriots. Also, what we want to see is how our defense responds against a so-called top 5, top 10 quarterback in Drake May. Okay, so it's a lot of matchups that we're intrigued and interested in seeing. This is going to be a good matchup and a good battle for our birds, even though I don't think that the Patriots are going to be Super Bowl contenders again. This is a team that you can get better against, okay? Especially against their defense. Overall, we just want to see our birds compete. And also, what we want to see is our birds staying healthy, okay? That's the number one thing right there. Health is wealth. But again, let's compete. It's no friends. Let's get better so we can get ready for week 1 versus those Washington Commanders. I guess that's what they're calling themselves nowadays. I don't know what they're still
That's what
calling
your
them.
name will be getting later. Don't even worry about it, bro.
I don't know. But
Problems.
we just said that health is wealth. So now we have to go through the injury report because availability is always part of the storyline. So not practicing, and this is big. This is big. He needs to get back, especially with him being new to the NFL, new to Philadelphia, new to the scheme. Makai Lemon. All right. He's been out with his hamstring injury. Tank Bigsby, he had a toe injury. Jonathan Jones had a shoulder injury. Mac McWilliams, groin. Damian Pierce, hamstring. Jacorian Bennett constantly on his knees. He had a knee. No wonder why his knee is injured. Dang, it makes sense, right? It makes sense. All right. So Grant Calcaterra back. John Ojuku, pectoral. Jose Ramirez, hamstring. Sean Wade, eye/shoulder injury. Johnny Wilson, knee injury. Whew, that's a lot of people that didn't practice. That's a long list, laundry list. Okay. All right. Now, players who were limited. DeVonta Smith with his hamstring. Keyshawn James Newby, our 7th-round pick from this season with the ankle injury. Cole Wisniewski, hamstring injury. It's a lot of hammies. Tariq Castro Fields, heel injury. Danny Gray, concussion. But here's the positive thing, because I know I just read a long list of names. All right. So we got to take the silver lining out of this. All right. Always got to find some positivity in it. Makai Lemon wasn't practicing, but he was in uniform. However, though, he was doing drills with the wide receivers. He worked on a side field. All right. So he was catching passes off the jugs machine before practice. So the signs do suggest that Makai is getting closer day by day. And that is very important, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages, because this is a rookie receiver, again, that we're talking about and who has generated excitement here in Philadelphia, who we want to put him in a slot, get him the ball in an open space, but it's kind of hard to do that when you're not available. So hopefully his rehab is going right, because I'm excited. I know Big Huss is excited to see Makai Lemon in this offense, because it's so much that Sean Mannion can do with Makai Lemon. And we're excited for him to finally get on the field and suit up. And look, don't be shocked if Makai Lemon wins Offensive Rookie of the Year, man. I got a feeling that he has a very, very great chance of doing that.
For sure. Like I said, long list, right? Getting some guys back, but none bigger than Makai Lemon. Even if he's not back for this preseason game versus the Patriots, hopefully we at least get him back for that third preseason
That
game.
third one.
So where he could play a fair amount of that game and really kind of knock that rust off and really prepare himself for the regular season, because at this point, it's missed damn near all the summer.
No, all of,
As you know what I mean? So you want to have him be able to get some action, kind of get adjusted somewhat to the NFL before the season actually happens, and he's having now to kind of learn on the fly.
Hmm.
So hopefully we at least get him back by that third preseason game because you got to get him out there. Now we also saw several round picks Cole Wizanowski and Keyshawn James Newby, return to practice. Wizanowski, he's been out since July 30th. James Newby, he's been out since August 1st. Getting those young players back on the field is huge because these young guys don't have like unlimited time. They need reps.
You
They
do.
need evaluations. Same we were talking about just with Makai Lemon. They need to show the coaching staff that they can contribute. And Wisniewski even received a first team rep later in one period. That's something to watch. He's still got a lot of work to do, but simply being back on the field after a long layoff matters. And then being back on the field and already getting first team reps. Look, we all know how to Don get down. Vic Knop isn't putting anyone on that field that he does not trust to go out there, do their job, know your assignment, and execute and play with maximum effort. So Cole Wizanowski has clearly shown something to this coaching staff to warrant him being out there getting those first team reps. As fans, we just kind of got to sit back and see how this all unfolds and unveils as the season progresses. But good to see them both back out there, and hopefully they can both contribute during their rookie season.
Yes, bro. And that's major from 2 7th round picks that they're
Mm-hmm.
getting these reps.
For
These
sure.
reps matter. These reps matter, man. Cole Wozniacki, even with his injury, him coming back out and getting that first team rep, like you said, the Don Godfather, he's not just putting any and everybody on the field.
Ah,
Not at all. So for him to get that first team rep, obviously Big Fangio saw something in him. And Keyshawn Newby, he's somebody who we were excited with in the draft process, man. Athletic, can bend off the edge. He just needs time to develop and get those reps. But seeing them back on the field, man, is always good. The better, the more healthy that we are, of course, the better things will be here in Philadelphia. But we got to talk about the offensive line. All right, we already know how the offensive line here is in Philadelphia. It's not the sexiest group, but here in Philadelphia, we made it the sexiest group. Okay, so we don't care who the quarterback is. We don't care who the running back is. All right, none of that works without an offensive line. Okay, so Monday's first team group was Jordan Mailata, Landon Dickerson, Cam Jurgens, Tyler Steen, and of course, Pave the Lane Johnson.
yes, sir.
Come on, bro. First ballot Hall of Famer. Now, that is a group that Birds fans should obviously feel great about. But you already know here in Philadelphia, we're all about depth. So we have to watch the depth, okay? So the second group was Markel Bell, Jake Majors, Willie Lampkin, Drew Kendall, and Big Fred Johnson. And this is important because these roster battles aren't theoretical anymore. Okay. These players are fighting for legit jobs, they're fighting for roles on this team, and they're fighting for the ability to step on the field when injuries do happen. That's why it's so significant to make sure that you have depth along the offensive line, the defensive line, because as we all know, playing in the trenches, it's a lot of moving parts, a lot of big bodies down there, okay? And look, it's contact every single time between an offensive line and defensive line. So injuries do occur. Hopefully, we don't have any significant injuries along that group, but it's always good to have these depth pieces get these meaningful reps and get the experience. So when their number is called, they're not shocked like, oh, I gotta go. Oh man, I'm sweating. Nah, you already got these reps. You already been practiced. When you stay prepared, you ain't got to get prepared. All right. So I know what is his name that we got? Chris Cooper. Chris
Yes.
Cooper. He's been doing an amazing job with the offense.
For sure. And that's for the preseason when it comes to the offensive line, we already, for the most part, know who our starting five is going to be.
Hmm.
It is truly about finding that sixth, seventh, eighth guy. Like you said, those depth pieces who could play meaningful snaps during the season. Because as we've known, We love paved the lane, but my man getting longer than two. Right? He misses time from here from time to time. So guys like Markel Bell, Fred Johnson, this is big for them. Willie Lampkin, even though different position along the line, but this is big for them. This is that the time where you prove like why I deserve to be on the field. And Willie, I watched the Willie when he was playing center. He looked good. Now it looked funny because you got your offensive line is 6'8", 6'9", and you drop down.
He just
yeah. See this little short wide body guy out there, but he was finishing plays. He was finishing plays, playing all the way through the whistle. You could tell that whatever him and Jason Kelsey were discussing, he took a lot of that and put it to use during this preseason game. Now,
real quick, because
go ahead,
he was finishing blocks like 15 yards downfield, like you said, playing through the whistle. But then another person, like you said, you already said Lane Johnson misses some games, but then you mentioned Willie Lampkin, who plays guard as well. Another person who misses games is Landon Dickerson. So that matters.
And Cam, for that matter.
And Cam, yeah, there we go.
Which, when we speak on versatility, Willie Lampkin once again put his versatility on display, starting off at center, then moving to guard. So he's having a good showing and making the coaches make a decision.
He's gonna make this roster, bro. He's going to make this roster.
I honestly believe he is too. He's having a good offseason.
Yes.
Now, I'd like to talk about this receiving room real quick. Now, in 11 personnel, the receivers remain this. Now, quick, 11 personnel, 1 running back, 1 tight end for those who don't follow. But the top receivers remain Dontavian Wicks, Hollywood Brown, Elijah Moore, right? But Darius Cooper continued getting plenty of work. He did play a lot in this game, and that's significant because Cooper has been one of the training camp standouts. He left Philadelphia against Baltimore with 2 catches for 21 yards. Nothing big, nothing crazy, but strong grabs, and he had to drop, which he has to catch. I understand the ball got on you fast. As soon as you turned your head around, it was there.
It was there.
But as an NFL receiver, and you're talking about being a potential starting receiver, because honestly, you're not even really competing for wide receiver 3 right now. You might be competing for wide receiver 2. You have to make those catches. But one drop doesn't erase the body of work. That's why we're watching them, because the roster battles are decided by margins. Young receivers can't waste opportunities, but they also can't let one mistake erase weeks of good work. He has to continue to build on what he does. Yes, it's great to have great practices. Continue to do that because that's where you're sharpening your craft, right? But when it's time for you to showcase your craft, get on the field and showcase it. Take advantage of every opportunity. The coaching staff and the Eagles are clearly watching you right now because they see something in you. Go out there and show the world what you can do. Don't stand the reps. Hey, announce yourself. This is the time to announce yourself. You briefly did it last preseason, but it's time for you to step up and take that next step and do it once again.
Yeah, I think he's going to step up and announce himself, bro. He's going to make people know his name because Darius Cooper, man, he has the physical makeup to be a top receiver, run solid routes, great strong hands. But yeah, we definitely just need for him to be more consistent. Now that he's getting these opportunities and these reps, consistency is key at this juncture. But we do got to talk about one of our favorite plays from day 12, made by Michael Carter II. Okay, so he was getting first team nickel reps. QB1 tried to get a pass to Quez Watkins. All right, Carter was stronger at the catch point with the football. Okay, so he ripped it away from Quez Watkins. Same story.
Yeah, no spots.
Sounds the same. 2022, right? Just couldn't you make it? Nothing changed. Same things as 2022. Still ain't changed. As Quez Watkins and Michael Carter II went down to the ground, guess what happened? Oh, picked off. Interception by Michael Carter II. Now, look, fam. Michael Carter II has had a strong training camp to this point. Now, here's where things do get interesting with Michael Carter II. He's not only competing at nickel, he's also competing with Marcus Epps for the starting safety role on the back end. Marcus Epps has been the leader, though, in the competition throughout the summer, but Michael Carter has made more plays in practice. This is exactly what makes training camp so fascinating because somebody who is penciled to be a starter can lose their job quickly if somebody else comes out and executes their reps better and just plays all around better during these sessions because the coaching staff has to make decisions and they're going to be tough decisions. Do you value consistency? Do you value experience, versatility, playmaking? How about how does the player fit into the scheme? Are they a threat on special teams? All of it matters, okay? And Michael Carter II is giving coaches something to think about by the way he's been playing here in his second season in Philadelphia.
Yeah, and this is the time to make them think.
Yes.
Marcus Epps, and I know this player. We watched the player for a while. I know he's not comfortable, but I said anyway, he can't get comfortable. Michael Carter II is on his heels. Hey, I should be a starter. I should be getting some more tick. Like I said, I thought he played really good in the preseason game. Outside of the touchdown pass where he really potentially should have jumped the route,
Should have jumped it.
kind of got moved out of the middle of the field for whatever the reason. Other than that, he's been playing solid and been
Hmm.
making plays. He's a veteran. He's understanding the scheme in his second year. Uh, Vic and the secondary coach, they have to once again make a decision. How do they want to play that? Or do they even bring in another safety from outside the building? Safety position, that second safety spot outside of Makuba, somewhat still has a question mark on it. So we'll see how they play that. But Michael Carter II has definitely been balling here late. But I think it
Hmm.
speaks volumes to where or how they feel about Marcus Epps. The fact that he didn't even dress up for the game lets me know that he might be
The leader.
potentially ahead
Hmm.
of Michael Carter in that race for that second safety spot.
Hmm.
So now we're in training camp, we're at practice, we're in team drills. Second play of team drills. QB1, Dontavian Wicks, in breaking route. And then there's 23-1, sticky coverage all over the ball, right? Mitchell jumps the route, knocks the pass down, and fam, look,
Catch. Jesus.
Quinyon, we know he got to stay on the judge machine. He's gonna get there, bro. He's gonna get there. He's gonna get there. I promise you. I promise you. But we all know he's been looking good. He's looked as good as he's ever looked, and that's important, right? Because Philadelphia, we need him. He is bona fide lockdown CB1. Then we have the Patriots coming up. We know the matchups and fits they might give us with AJ Brown. Just get good looks. He's gonna have every opportunity to compete against some serious receivers, or mainly a serious receiver. He's really the only weapon I see in the receiving room. As far as I know, they got was it Romeo Dobbs up there or
Romeo
whatever.
Dobbs and Kayshawn Booty.
With yeah, I ain't worried.
Ain't we
Right?
worried?
Yeah. So him versus AJ Brown is really what we're looking at. That's gonna be a big storyline. That's gonna be a very big storyline. He has to continue to show up, continue to compete. Now we know he will, man. Quinyon Mitchell is, in my eyes, top three corner in the league. Just what do you say? Clamps, bull, locks it down. 23-1. As my brother Mr. Owens would say right here. Like
23-1, bro.
no
No,
visit out.
no busy, man.
Yeah.
You can't visit my man's, all right? And you already know all the cameras are going to be on Quinyon and
Oh
AJ
yeah.
Brown. Even though Quinyon is really the silent type, he ain't really the loud, rah rah type of guy. He just goes on the field and handles his business. Somewhat, he reminds me of DeVonta Smith, Slim Reaper. That's you just show up,
Okay.
do your
I like
thing.
that.
You see what I'm
Yeah.
saying? You just all
For
about
sure.
your business.
For
But
sure.
he will let AJ Brown know, just like he let Baker Mayfield know. You know who I am. All right. This ain't nothing new. We've been going back and forth at it for a few years now. All right. So just we want to see good looks. We just want healthy competition. Like we said, don't be friendly. Go at AJ Brown. All right. Yeah, AJ Brown was on your team last year. He gave you all the compliments in the world. Now show him exactly the work that you've been putting in and why you are a bona fide top three corner in this league. But we gotta talk about one of our veteran receivers who we got this off season in Hollywood Brown. He has had a relatively quiet camp here for the Philadelphia Eagles, but he made one of his best plays on Monday in day 12 of training camp. All right. So he got a short pass from QB1 in the flat. His back was turned to Tariq Woolen. And after that catch, Hollywood showed some veteran awareness. All right. He felt the defender. He turned his body. He picked up significant yards after the catch. That's what you want to see out of our receivers. Yak, getting the ball in open space and turning small gains into big gains. And that's veteran football. All right. One thing that I did like was after that practice where QB1 threw the pick to Quinyon and Quinyon stepped in front of Hollywood Brown, they were on the field together. That's what two veterans do. They're on the field talking everything over to make sure that they're both on the same page, because communication, understanding how a quarterback sees the route, understanding how the receiver runs the route, all of that matters. You have to have cohesion. Okay, so sometimes it's not about running 40 yards down the field. It's all about understanding where the defender is without seeing him. That's having football IQ. That's having the experience and the reps throughout your career. And that's something that Philadelphia needs from Hollywood Brown. We need him to be more consistent, and we need him to show up and be that vertical threat.
That's exactly it. He has to show that he can still be explosive. The Eagles
Hmm.
have been talking all spring and all summer about how fast he is and how quick he's been looking in and out of his breaks. I get it. You're fast, you're quick. It doesn't matter if you're not catching the ball though. That's why we let Quez go. Quez was fast and quick and all those things, but he couldn't catch the
And
rock.
contest the rock.
You know what I'm saying? So at this point, I don't believe Hollywood Brown has done enough during camp. I believe he's kind of losing the race in the receiver room. So plays like this give you a little bit more confidence, and he should have a little bit more confidence himself, but has to be more consistent.
Has to be.
Show that speed. You know what I'm saying? Show the hands, because he's a former first round pick. We need to see more of that first round pick talent on a consistent basis. Now, man, let's talk about QB1 real quick, because some of the more interesting plays of day 12 came from Hurts. One of his best throws came on an under center play action concept. Hurts threw the across his body back toward the middle of the field to Elijah Moore, who has been having a good camp as well.
Solid game. Yes.
Yeah, the play almost looked like a screen type deal developing. We've seen Hurts willing to make those type of throws throughout camp. And then there was another strong throw. Hurts fired a pass to Danny Gray on a slant in front of Rick Woolen. We saw the arm talent there, right? We saw the timing there. And that's part of what we've been looking for, because the biggest question surrounding the new offense isn't whether Jalen Hurts can throw the football. We've seen QB1 layer some passes in there, drop some deep balls into the pockets at times. So it's not so much the arm talent. We know what he can do. It's how Sean Mannion is going to structure the offense around Hurts' strengths. The under center concepts, the play actions, the motions that you saw, the timing, the rhythm, and create an easy answers for him before the snap. That's what we're studying. And that's what we didn't get a lot of last year. The easy answers. I'm walking into a pop quiz. I don't even know what we're studying right now. What's it on? Right? The offense did not have it. So we're hoping as this offense progresses and we work through training camp and get it up to the season, the offense can seem to flow a little bit better, right? Like I said, we have the answers before the test is given. So we're not looking so much out of whack. We want to see this offense build around Hurts, not have Hurts build around the offense.
Hmm. We don't need him playing hero ball.
No,
Like you said, just
no.
give him easy,
Easy reads
easy reads, bro. That's it. You see what I'm saying? He can make all the throws,
for sure.
but let's not overcomplicate things. And that's what I think that Sean Mannion is going to do here in Philadelphia. He has had ample time to watch the film from last season to see what we did great, what we did poorly. So I know that he has come out his own mouth and said that the issues from last season under the guy in Miami, those are fixable things. So hopefully, with him being a former quarterback, he understands what our quarterback needs from him and also what this offense needs from him so that our offense gets back on track to what we know that they can be. But we got to go back inside and talk about the trenches because those are the big guys that protect QB1 and keep him upright. So Tyler Steen had several good reps against Breadman Carter. Bam. A motivated Breadman too. All right. Just had the Brinks truck just stop.
Yeah.
All right. The beeping just stop. All right, they got to him. And we all know that's not an easy task. Okay, so you're going against one of the best defensive tackles in all of football. And if Tyler Steen can consistently hold his own against Breadman Carter, that tells us something. Cam Jurgens, he got moved backward by big Jordan Swaggy Davis on a bull rush. But here is the important part to that, all right? He anchored down. He stopped Davis on a finesse move, and that's development. Then we got to go to Jordan Mailata, who had 2 excellent reps versus Jalix Hunt. But sometimes the best thing you can say about an offensive lineman is you didn't hear his name much. And that is a compliment. Quiet camp. It's been a quiet camp. It's been no major issues. It's just the offensive lineman doing his job. And that's all you want and can ask for. And finally, Willie Lampkin also had a nice rep against Byron Young. So we're continuing to see competition throughout this offensive line. Look, depth, depth, depth. We already know our starting offensive linemen. We need to make sure that the depth behind them are ready to go in case anything happens to our starters throughout the season.
Spot on. I ain't gonna say too much on that. You hit it on the head. Depth, depth, depth. That's what we're looking at right now. We want to see those back. Yeah, it's depth. We want to see those backup players outside of your core guys just continue to grow.
Mm-hmm.
Continue to grow. So that's what we're seeing there. Now, another thing we noticed, Vic Fangio appeared to be dialing up the blitz a little bit more and more each year. Look, Zach Bond was sent through the A-cap multiple times. That's down there right off your center's ass, right? And on one occasion, he would have gotten home for a sack, but Will Shipley had an excellent pass pro rep and stopped him. And that's what you want to see out of your third string running back. Hey, running backs, we already know. Main job, running the ball, right? Tote, tote, tote. But pass pro, and when we've seen things, Bigsby speak on this a little bit in past weeks, it's just as important. A lot of times, if you can't pass pro as a running back, more than likely, you're not getting no
field on third down.
Yeah,
exactly.
You're not getting on that field. So that is excellent to see from Will Shipley. But Fangio sent rookie Cole Wazinski, and Wazinski got a sack on Cole Payton. Cole on Cole, straight violence. Okay, and you gotta love it. But this matters because Fangio is evaluating communication. He's evaluating pickup. He's evaluating protections. He's evaluating everything. And these are exactly the things that will matter against New England. We already know Vic is an old school coach. He's not missing anything, especially from that linebacker group. He's going to make sure that group, if don't nobody else play well, that linebacker group's going to play well. So you're always constantly under the microscope. But to see him blitzing a little bit more, sending those extra pressures, getting creative with it, that's just showing how the defense is starting to evolve. Because first year of Vic in Philadelphia, we weren't getting any blitzes at all. It was just front forward, go do your thing.
Just win.
Yeah, just win, get home. Second year, you seem to dial up a little bit more. And it seems he's starting that trend off once again with in his third year here. So the evolution, of the defense is what I'm liking to see.
Yes.
Trying to see where we're going with it.
Yes, for sure. For sure. And we already know Big is going to have them boys ready. He's going to have them boys ready for week 1. It don't matter. Big do his thing. All right? Now, look, there were some other things worth mentioning from day 12 that we just simply can't ignore here on the Main Thing Podcast Presents. So the offense fumbled on a pitch from QB1 to Will Shipley. Not good, all right? That's something that we obviously know has to get cleaned up. Jeremiah Trotter Jr. also delivered a big hit on Jaquindon Jackson. And we got to put this into perspective and context. Jackson is 6'2" and 233 pounds. Try said, I don't care about none of that. My man came and stood him all the way up. All right. And we're not talking about a date. All right. This tells you something about his physicality. Okay. And Dallas Giddy had several catches, but also had a play that he probably would like back. He was wide open on the left side. The pass, look, it hit him in his hands. He just couldn't secure the ball cleanly and properly. The ball pops up in the air. He got another opportunity and it dropped it. All right. Again, you did it. Come on, bro. We know you're going to be a major part of this offense, but training camp is all about details. Moro Jomo also had an active day with a sack and TFL. So we're continuing to see our depth players make their case to earn more playing time for the 2026 season.
Depth, depth, depth. Philly knows what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
We already know who our core guys are, and we know what they can do. It's about these backup pieces. And Axman Jr., I'm continuing. I'm loving everything I'm seeing from Bull. I'm glad he's just continuing to stack days for real. Game, no problem. Practice, no problem. I'm here.
I've arrived.
I've arrived. So I love to continue to see him just working and working, right? Look, if he doesn't crack the starting lineup in Philadelphia, I guarantee you at some point he's going to be a starter for some other team.
We're not putting that in the universe. We ain't putting that in the universe. No.
I'm just saying. He's playing at that level for real. At this point, you could tell it's one of those where he's not going to be denied. Like just straight like that, he's not going to be denied. I love to see it. Now let's talk about another guy, Mr. Keely Ringo. Interesting. He could be the best version of himself, or he could be the frustrating version. And what's crazy is you can see both of those versions in the same damn game.
Crazy work.
Crazy work.
Gosh.
Against Baltimore, he had the interception, hell of a play, way to recover when you were beat, right? He closed on the football, he attacked it, he made the play. But he also had a pass interference penalty, which I feel like he gives up on a consistent basis every time he's out on the field, right? He was involved in coverage issues. And once again, that just seems to be the story surrounding Keely. The physical tools, all the way there. As a defensive back, as far as in Philadelphia, I don't know if any of our DBs are as physically gifted as Keely Ringo. When you're talking about the size, the speed, the ball skills, the closing ability, which we saw, great special team value, but a word that we've used many times on this channel, the consistency, that's where he has to improve. And this secondary look is deep. Got some ballers on the back end. You know what I mean? Between Rick Woolen, 23-1, Quinyon Mitchell, Cooper DeJean, Jonathan Jones, who we didn't see much action due to an injury, Michael Carter second, Marcus Epps, and Drew Makuba, right? There, we got some ballers. So Ringo can't simply make one spectacular play and be like, oh, yeah, I'm a lock on this roster. You know what I'm saying? I'm here. No. He has to eliminate the damaging mistakes. That's the next level for him. It's becoming consistent and being the best version of yourself on a consistent basis. It can't be the highs and lows. It's too much of that with Ringo when he's out there. And you would think, what is this year?
Year 3 or 4.
That and being behind Darius Slay, big play Slay, being behind, you'd think he would have ironed a lot of these things out, but it's the same issues. If he can get beyond this, physically, he has the tools to be an elite corner in this league. It's just mentally, you got to be there every play.
Right.
We haven't really seen that yet.
Mm-hmm. And to your point, bro, it's the same mistakes over and over and over. And if we're getting tired of it, we darn sure know the coaches are getting tired of it, bro. Because it's like, bro, how many opportunities are we going to give you? And you continue making the same mistakes over and over, man. Like, I knew at first they didn't throw that flag, but I knew they were going to throw that flag. I knew they were going to throw that flag in the red zone. He was sitting at the goal line. Bull ran a route. He kind of felt he got out leveraged, start grabbing and all that stuff. I knew they were going to throw the flag. That is his biggest issue, is just showing up and being consistent on a daily basis. Like, it's to the point where you basically had a starting position on a silver platter for you, bro. Like, you couldn't have got it delivered, bro.
Any better, bro?
Michelin 5-star restaurant, bro. You got the chef coming from the bok, okay? Coming out saying, "Hey, Mr. Ringo, so this is the dish that we created today. Giving you the whole works, the whole joint, bro, and still couldn't take advantage of the opportunity and allow and forcing us to play Adoree Jackson. Keely Ringo just has to show up and be consistent. We give him so much praise on special teams with him being a gunner on a punt. He does a phenomenal job. But when he gets out there in a secondary, he looks like he never played football a day in his life. That's the piece that is so frustrating, because as you mentioned, he's so physically gifted. The only person who I can really say is probably as physically gifted as him is, and we just got him this season, is Reek Woolen. That's the only person who you could probably.
You're right.
That's the only person that you can say, man. And but as we always mention, depth is key. Behind the big three,
Bro.
who else we got? Somebody got to step up. Somebody got to step up, bro. Somebody has to, okay? But let's go to a feel good situation, man, because we got to talk about the international players, the international ballers, all right? So, not every important story from Baltimore is obviously about statistics, okay? So, we got to talk about Uar Bernard, Joshua Weru, all right? Those are two players who played their first ever competitive football snaps. Like, let me say it again, ever, all right? So, think about that. Uar Bernard is from Nigeria. Joshua Weru is a former international rugby player from Kenya. They didn't grow up playing football from childhood like most of us do. They started learning the game this spring, just a few months ago, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages. They reportedly haven't even worn football pads until approximately 2 weeks before the game. 14 days, bro. And getting used to those pads, it takes kind of used to getting to them, all right? I don't care how young you started playing football. It takes some time to get used to those pads. But now, from them just putting on pads 14 days ago, they were playing in their first ever NFL preseason game, and that is incredible, man. So me and Big Hus was talking about this off camera. Joshua Weru, he flashed his athleticism. We could see it. He had the bend, had the closing speed, even had the wherewithal to lay off of the quarterback, because usually young players, they get that opportunity to hit a quarterback, they gonna run through the quarterback, bro. It ain't no questions. It's a flag coming out, late hit, all of that. But the fact that he laid off shows growth and shows, hey, look, in the future, he can be a valuable piece on this defense. He generated pressure. He recorded a quarterback hit, but standing at 6'4" and 244 pounds with a reported 4.45 40-yard dash and a 41.5-inch verti. Look, the physical tools are all there. All right, they're obvious. Okay. Uar Bernard also shows some encouraging moments as well, disengaging from blockers. Now, he did miss a goal line tackle on Baltimore's touchdown, but this isn't about declaring any of these players ready to become NFL stars tomorrow. All right, it's about their development process here in Philadelphia. And the Don and Godfather Vic has described them as being light years away. And we have to understand that. Vic has been around a lot of players, has seen a lot of football. So he understands where you need to be. They have to learn new terminology. They have to learn technique. They have to learn instincts. They have to just learn the game in itself. But Saturday for Joshua Weru and Uar Bernard was a milestone for both of those gentlemen. And watching their teammates celebrate those first football snaps, that was the most genuine and positive moments of the night, because that's simply love. That's football. That's opportunity. That's them developing and look, trying to carve out their role here in Philadelphia, whether they get some playing time, whether they don't get some playing time. It's just about them continue to elevate, getting better one day at a time. So maybe not this year, but next year they can be an attribute to our team.
And look, and like we're not going to see a return on that investment anytime soon.
Mm-mm.
So let's pump the brakes. Yes, these young men are physically gifted for sure. You talking about 6'4", 245, and you running a 4.45 with a 41-inch vert, he probably would have tested in the upper percentile of many groups that he would have ran with during the we talk about combine and pro days and things of that nature.
Mm-hmm.
But they're both are in a great situation where they don't have to be thrust into action. They can sit down and truly learn the game. Like I said, they just put on pads for the first time and they're like 2 weeks ago,
2 weeks ago.
and you're already in the NFL game. That's huge. You skipped a lot of phases to get to this point. But clearly the league saw something, the Eagles saw something to bring you in. We just got to give them time to hone those talents and become the football players that we know they can be.
Mm-hmm.
Let's not put any pressure on these young men. Give them the grace to grow and become better players and better students of the game. And hell, they might surprise us because you saw the physical traits. Like I said, when Ruru came flying off the edge, you saw the closing speed. He
Mm-hmm.
closed in a blink. Like I said, but didn't have the wherewithal. Hey man, let me pull up. I don't want to get a flag. So it's there. The situational awareness, the in the moment, it's there. We just got to get the football knowledge up.
Mm-hmm.
Now let's talk special teams and that safety group, man. Best group on the field. Now
Stop it.
look. Now, as we mentioned earlier, right? Marcus Epps, he didn't dress against Baltimore despite no known injury. Marco Carter II played. Now, that would appear to give Epps some advantage in the safety competition because he received most of the first team work alongside Drew Makuba. But Carter II is still rotating in at safety with Cooper DeJean moving inside in certain packages. The versatility between Carter and Cooper DeJean will be handled and mastered with care from Vic Fangio. But that versatility matters. Then you have the punt return. Britton Covey got his first opportunity. Welcome back to the fold, my man. If Covey stays healthy, his return ability gives him a clear path to this roster. Look, Covey's already been a Pro Bowler off his return ability, so it's there. Then on returns, quick returns, you also had Quez Watkins and Elijah Moore were first up. Me personally did not like Quez Watkins back there.
Absolutely not.
But that's just me. And this is where the roster versatility becomes important because sometimes the final receiver spot isn't simply who is a better receiver. It becomes who can help us in more than one phase. Once again, that versatility. Can you return? Can you play special teams? Can you line up in multiple spots? Can you contribute if injuries happen? That's how final roster decisions are made. Like I said, those spots are locked up. More times than not, those top spots don't have to have that much versatility. In Philadelphia, it's a little different, but most times you don't. Those backup roles, you cannot simply be the fifth receiver on the roster and be like, I'm just a receiver. No.
Mm-mm.
You need to be a returner, a gunner, a something, right? You have to add more value in more than one spot. And you're seeing that with some of these backup players. And look, as I mentioned, Quez, more than likely, Quez won't make this team as a receiver purely. He's going to have to show some return ability. Like I said, I didn't care for it too much, but Elijah Moore might be in a similar situation. Britton Covey in that situation, he's shown he could do that. You have to continue to bring that versatility. We're seeing some of that as we progress through this preseason. But if you're talking about trying to make a roster spot, versatility, especially as a backup player, is your best option.
Yes. And it didn't help that Quez just got flipped on his head, bro.
Right. It's just you on kick return, run, bro. Like you can't be stopping and stuff. Like, what are you doing?
He did the same thing playing receiver when he used to catch the football, bro. I'm like, dog, you're like, it's almost like he's scared of contact, bro. Like,
A little bit.
I don't
Yeah,
get
for
it, bro.
sure. For
I
sure.
don't get it, bro. I didn't like him back there either because
Nah,
I was like, who is this? And they was like,
that's
Quiz
what I
Walker's on a return.
told lie.
I'm like, yo, bro, I forgot we even had Quiz. I ain't gonna hold you like, like crazy, man. So